Hey everybody, this is Linskins, and today we're here doing another speed build. Today I'm actually building a school bus tiny home. I was inspired by I've been watching a lot of like tiny home builds, and it's a very interesting concept. A lot of people are switching to sort of off-grid housing to live more economically and that sort of thing, and it's really cool, especially for single people or like young couples, even older people who have decided not to have children, or I don't know. It's just it's a really cool thing. It allows them to live off the grid and kind of travel and just kind of live their life freely without the worries of being in debt and that sort of thing. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go look up some tiny home builds or like school buses converted into a little tiny house. So right now we're doing the exterior, and it looks like I'm creating the front of the bus. I really had a hard time making this look like a bus, but I think in the end it definitely resembles one, and the concept is definitely there. I have some elevated flooring. You'll see what I mean here in a few minutes. And right now I'm trying to enlarge a bus using the bracket key, and that didn't work. So it kind of looks like it was once a working bus and you were able to drive it, but now it's just kind of permanently in one location, which I think is kind of nice. Although the size compared to the other houses in the neighborhood, it's a big bus. Like, I don't know that it's actually bus size. It's more like a trailer house or something like that. So yeah. So right now we are actually trying to find something to make it look more bus-like, and I think eventually I end up finding something for the wheels. I can't remember what exactly I used. I think it was something that came with the outdoor stuff pack. And it's round and peg-like, and it's not black, but it's a brown tire, which is fine, but it works well enough. And right now I think we're actually getting it to look a lot like a bus, so that's good. Putting the stairs, I wanted them to kind of look like you could remove them, so they're not like permanently attached. And I was also trying to put in side view mirrors, and when I enlarged it, it was like the frame of the mirror detached from the actual mirror itself, and it just looked really strange. So what I ended up using is this sort of like sculpture thing to use outside of your house, I guess to give it sort of an interesting feel. And here are the tires I was talking about. They don't actually look like tires, but I mean, the concept is there, and I think with the plants and stuff I use to go around it, I think it kind of helps the build look a little bit more natural. So yeah, we're still doing the exterior, and now we're moving on to the inside. I had raised up the foundation, and I'm removing the middle floor to make it kind of sunken in. So maybe the, I don't know, like the wheel things, like wherever the wheels are, that's where it's elevated. That was kind of my mindset for it. I was really surprised how much I was able to fit in here. It made me really curious. Like, I would like to one day probably go camping if, my husband was for it, and try to make like a really cool kind of long-term vehicle turn, like maybe like a school bus or an RV into like a temporary home where we could travel and stuff. That would be pretty neat. but I don't know. Right now, I had to fix the outside. I guess when you remove flooring and stuff, it makes it kind of difficult to keep all the wallpaper and stuff intact. So I had to go back and fix it, but it wasn't a big deal. You just have to do it individually. It just takes a few more minutes, but really easy fix. Right now, we're moving on to the kitchenette, or I don't know, it's sort of like a galley kitchen, or like a kitchen you would use in a boat or something. And I really like these like countertops for this build, because in a lot of the tiny houses, they have to really find ways to store things. So I like how like the tiny drawers and stuff are underneath, and it makes it look like they've found a way to make extra storage. And we're putting lighting underneath the cabinets and stuff. And I really did not know what to do with the bus cab. So if you put this in your game, I would play around with it. Maybe you could have a little indoor garden. Eventually we're gonna see a lot of foliage and stuff outside, like a garden. So maybe to go along with that, you can make a little greenhouse or something. Especially if, you know, it's permanently on the lot. So it would make sense. If you wanted it to be, you know, quote unquote drivable, which we don't have drivable vehicles in The Sims 4, but you could always make it look like it's an actual bus cab. You could put like a chair in there. We don't have like real steering wheels or anything, but you know, I'm sure you could find a solution. Right now we're starting to work on the living room. So I really love this living room. And the person I made this for, you'll see at the end in the screenshots, it's a lot of fun because, well, let's just say she's from my childhood. So that might be all I need to say, but you'll figure it out soon enough. But I put up pictures. Originally I was going to do some abstract stuff, but then I decided to go with, like, you know, maybe she had traveled places and she wanted to put photos in her house of, like, where she's traveled. So that's kind of, like, where I went with that. So we're doing that right now. We have, like, a tropical beach, I don't know, and a desert. And I had a really rough time trying to figure out what to put in certain corners, so here we are trying to figure that out. I thought maybe I could try to make a sectional, which I think in the next expansion, or not expansion, and it's not quite a game, well, it is a game pack, I guess. We're going to receive sectionals, so I'm really excited about that. So I'm just trying to figure out what to put there. This person is very scholarly, so I put a chalkboard there. It was really hard to find one without the restaurant things on it. And then I just popped a little radio over top of that. And now we're putting in bench seating. And if you see a lot of the tiny house builds, like in real life, they have a lot of those kind of bench seating things, and they put cushions over them, and like you have extra storage if you lift up the cushions, or you can make it into another bed for somebody to stay the night. So it's really cool. I wanted it to give that kind of feel to it. And so yeah, now I think just trying to resolve what to use with that little space right there in the hallway leading up to the bedroom. I love this bedroom. It's like so cozy. I'm sure it wouldn't be this big in real life if you actually had it in a school bus, but I don't know, I imagine it would be, you would probably be able to fit a queen size bed into the back of a bus. So it's not too far-fetched, but we're just placing decorations and like a place to get ready for the sim. Putting books on the nightstands and perfumes and lotions and that sort of thing. And there's another photo. Maybe they travel back in time. I don't know. That may be another hint as to who this sim is. And we are playing around with the... I don't know what those are called, but I really like the way they look in this build, especially because this is a whimsical sim that we're building for. So, and I originally wanted to have these really bright and colorful curtains, but in the end I go with gray just because it was gonna be way too much. So, and then we're just placing a hamper there. And the bathroom, which, I mean, the bathroom's pretty simple. I didn't do anything fancy, because it's just a washroom. You go in there to do your biz, you know, shower, brush teeth, unmentionables. So, I really like that sink. I haven't used it much, and I don't know why, but I think it's because the way it looks in the thumbnail is like bright red, and it's kind of intimidating. Like, oh, I don't think I would use that, but I used it in this one, and it looked pretty good, so maybe I'll start using it more. And I think we're getting ready to start doing landscaping, so I wanted it to look like it was parked on a lot. So I get like pavement and place it there. And you're gonna see this epic garden coming up. You could actually remove the plants I put in there. I just wanted to make it look full and pretty, and kind of lush. But you could absolutely take the plants out and, you know, make your sim a gardener, or you could hire a gardener to plant things for you and take care of it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So we were putting in bushes and more bushes and flowers. As I said in the last build, I do not have a green thumb. I'm really bad at planting things. They usually die, or I usually just forget about them. So I actually have another funny story about gardening. Last year, I thought I was growing a mint sprig, and it turns out it was just a weed. So I decided that it was time for the mint sprig to die, and it caused a big uproar with my friends and my husband. So, but it was not a mint, it was a weed. So that happened. Now we're just enlarging rocks and placing them to make your eye kind of like not look at the plants all the time, give your eye a place to rest. And we're using the terrain paints to paint the landscaping, and then we're going to come into our screenshots soon. And if you haven't guessed already, the sim I was talking about was actually Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus, and I am so excited about that. I think they put the Magic School Bus on Netflix just recently, or I don't know, a long time ago, but I thought it would be fun to make a house for her, and I figured she would probably live in a tiny house. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys get some ideas and find inspiration from this, and I'll talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful week. Thank you.